Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our podcast. Today, we're diving into a topic that I think is so important for many of us: how to develop a healthy relationship with food. With me today is Erica, a nutrition enthusiast and advocate for mindful eating. Erica, welcome to the show.
Hi, Emma. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to talk about such a crucial topic.
It's great to have you here, Erica. So, let's get started. Why do you think developing a healthy relationship with food is so important?
That's a great question, Emma. Developing a healthy relationship with food isn't just about what we eat. It's also about how we think and feel about food. Food is such a big part of our lives. Not only does it fuel our bodies, but it also plays a role in our social interactions, our emotions, and even our self-image. When we have a positive relationship with food, we can enjoy it without guilt, listen to our body's needs, and focus on nourishing ourselves rather than punishing ourselves.
Absolutely. I feel like many people struggle with this because we live in a world that's so focused on diets and restrictions. It's easy to fall into a cycle of labeling foods as good or bad. How can someone begin to break free from that mindset?
You're right, Emma. The idea of labeling foods as good or bad can be really damaging because it creates this black and white thinking. One of the first steps to breaking free from that mindset is to practice self-compassion. We need to remind ourselves that it's okay to enjoy all types of foods in moderation. I often tell people to start by giving themselves permission to eat without guilt and to focus on how food makes them feel rather than the calories it contains.
I love that approach. It's about being kind to yourself, right? What role does mindful eating play in this journey toward a healthier relationship with food?
Mindful eating is huge. It's all about being present in the moment when you're eating. Instead of eating while you're watching TV or scrolling through your phone, you focus on the taste, texture, and smell of your food. This helps you tune into your body's hunger and fullness signals, which is key to preventing overeating or mindless snacking. When you're more mindful, you're also more likely to make choices that truly satisfy you.
That makes so much sense. It's like we often eat on autopilot and don't even realize when we're full or if we're really enjoying what we're eating. Do you have any practical tips for someone who wants to start eating more mindfully?
Absolutely. One simple tip is to start with just one meal a day where you put away all distractions and focus solely on eating. Take small bites, chew slowly, and really savor each mouthful. Also, try checking in with yourself before and after your meal to see how hungry or full you feel. Over time, this practice becomes second nature and helps you develop a more intuitive way of eating.
That's such a practical approach, Erica. I think sometimes people worry that eating mindfully means they have to eat perfectly, which can add pressure. What would you say to those who feel this way?
Oh, I totally get that concern. But mindful eating is not about perfection. It's about awareness. It's okay to have moments when you're not eating mindfully. What matters is the overall intention to be more present with your food. The goal isn't to eliminate all distractions forever. It's to build a habit of checking in with yourself and making food choices that align with your needs and preferences.
That takes a lot of the pressure off. Now, let's talk about emotional eating. I know it's something many people struggle with, including myself at times. How can we begin to address that?
Emotional eating is a common challenge, and it's important to understand that it's completely normal to turn to food for comfort sometimes. The key is to recognize when you're eating to soothe an emotion rather than to satisfy physical hunger. A good starting point is to identify your triggers. Are you reaching for food when you're stressed, bored, or lonely? Once you know your triggers, you can start finding non-food ways to cope with those feelings, like taking a walk, journaling, or talking to a friend.
That's great advice. It sounds like developing a healthy relationship with food is also about developing a better understanding of ourselves and our emotions. Do you have any other strategies for managing emotional eating?
Yes. One technique I find really helpful is to practice a pause before eating. When you feel the urge to eat, take a moment to pause and ask yourself if you're physically hungry or if you're eating for another reason. If it's not hunger, think about what you're really feeling in that moment. This little pause can help you make a more mindful decision about whether to eat or to try a different coping strategy.
That's such a powerful tool, Erica. Just giving yourself a moment to think can make a huge difference. Now, let's switch gears a bit. How do you feel about the role of diet culture in shaping our relationship with food?
Diet culture has a lot to answer for. It promotes the idea that our worth is tied to our size or the foods we eat, which can lead to unhealthy relationships with food and our bodies. It's all about quick fixes and restrictive diets that aren't sustainable in the long run. To truly develop a healthy relationship with food, we need to let go of the idea that there's a perfect diet. Instead, we should focus on nourishing our bodies in a way that feels good and supports our overall well-being.
That's such an important point. It's like shifting the focus from trying to fit into a certain mold to actually enjoying the process of nourishing yourself. What advice would you give to someone who's struggling to break free from diet culture?
I would say, start by unfollowing any social media accounts or influences that make you feel less than or promote unrealistic body standards. Surround yourself with messages that celebrate all bodies and encourage a balanced approach to health. It's also helpful to educate yourself about intuitive eating, which is all about listening to your body and honoring your hunger and fullness cues without judgment.
That's great advice. Social media can be such a double-edged sword when it comes to body image and food. Lastly, Erica, what would you say is the most important thing to remember when trying to develop a healthier relationship with food?
I think the most important thing is to be patient and kind to yourself. Developing a healthy relationship with food is a journey, not a destination. It's okay to have setbacks or days when things don't go perfectly. What matters is your overall intention to take care of your body and mind in a way that feels good to you. Celebrate the small wins along the way, and remember that you're doing this to nurture yourself, not to punish yourself.
I love that so much, Erica. This has been such an enlightening conversation. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and insights with us today. I'm sure our listeners are going to take away so much from this episode.
Thank you, Emma. It was a pleasure being here and talking about something I'm so passionate about. I hope this conversation helps anyone out there who's looking to build a healthier and more positive relationship with food.
I'm sure it will. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who might benefit from it. Until next time, take care and remember to be kind to yourself and your journey with food. Bye for now.